All right, welcome everybody. Beckman off the chain. We've already got some talk in the comments, so I'm going to show one of these. Any housebreaking tips for cold weather where pups don't want to go outside? I don't. I don't live in cold weather. I have never really raised a dog in cold weather. Clothes is all I can think of. People in the chat might have cold weather. People might have better advice than I. So I don't have anything on that, but that's what everyone's talking about in the chat. So if you do, go and respond to JDO. All right, guys, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a video of the week. It is a dog pulling down its owner and then jumping and trying to get at a smaller dog. And it's pretty funny, actually. And then we're going to get to hater of the week. I've got screenshots, and then we'll do Q&A, and I'll talk about a BCP graduate as well. So if you're in Oakland, you're going to want to, or in or around the Bay Area, you're going to want to listen to this. Okay, video of the week. Let's go here. So many of you have seen this probably. We'll watch it once or twice. The two ladies in front are walking with a little dog, and then you're going to see what happens. Okay, here we go. Watch lady in the white. Not here. Watch this next ball. It's the strangest ball I've ever seen. Bro. And then she just stays there. No, we'll watch it again. Dog pulls. Looks like it's got a prong on, maybe. Goes with the little dog. Little swinging move. Not the worst move in the world if the dog is harnessed to just swing your little dog around. Honestly, not the worst move. This ball here is just... Okay. And that is about it, you guys. So first off, how about some yoga, ladies? How about some grip strength work? I mean, you got to try to get in the gym, and if you're going to have a dog like that, you got to hold your dog. You can't fall down like that. You really, maybe she's going on walks to try to get in better shape. I get it. That dog has an obvious impulse control problem, not just on the leash, but in life in general, a jumping problem. That dog needs impulse control. That dog needs some corrections. That dog does not need positive reinforcement. That dog needs to hold itself back when it wants something. It wasn't even going after a squirrel. It was pulling the lady down the street and then just launching itself. That dog needs, I don't even want to say that dog needs training. That dog needs impulse control training. Impulse control is not fixed with treats. That's not impulse control. Impulse control is fixed with a number of ways of the dog saying, I want to fly through that door. I want to jump on that person. I want to pull to that dog. And then inhibiting that behavior and that thought because of consequences. Doesn't have to be painful consequences. There's moves I've done where there's dogs that just go in front of you. You'll take a step, forget on the leash, forget out a door, literally on my property, I'll take a step and they go, oh, we're going here. And then they're just always going, you're going here, I'm going here. You're going here, I'm going here. No, literally. And all I do is I take a step. Right when the dog gets beyond me, I turn the other way. And then the dog goes, oh, we're going this way. And then they go that way and then I turn. That's even impulse control. That's not positive reinforcement. Positive reinforcement doesn't fix impulse control. That dog needs impulse control. All right. That's the video. And no, I'm not bashing the people in that video, but you know, and I don't mean to bash them by any means. It's already hard enough on them. Probably that video on Daily Mail or whatever had 2.4 million likes, which means it's in the 15 million view range. But she's got to work on her grip strength. She's got to work on her balance, her hip strength, her leg strength. The other lady, let's watch it again. The other lady I mean, that one lady did pretty good. The lady in black. The lady here, watching again. The lady in black needs to be more assertive, right? She kind of hands the dog over. Drops it. The lady, someone just got to come, double collar grab on the dog. You may get bit, you probably won't. The dog is fully focused on the other dog, not like the bite. It's a double collar grab. They can feel your strength, and you literally just walk them down. It's really hard to hold a dog like this because you're pulled over. That's why that. You can get one collar, one side of the collar, and then double collar grab. You get your base spread, your leg spread, and then you can control a dog because they're in the middle of you. Okay? So it's a grab and then a double collar grab. Now they're here. Now they don't have the power. But nobody did that. Obviously, one lady was on the ground. The other lady had the dog. The lady in black needs to jump in. This stuff happens all the time, by the way, with unruly dogs on walks. I go on walks with Duke and Prince, but a lot with Duke. I carry pepper spray. I am watching every house to see if the door opens. I am watching every garage door that's open. I am watching every time a gate is opened. Every single time. Certain houses, I put my hand on the pepper spray. Walks are not some relaxing thing to me in any way, shape, or form. I know the wrong dog comes out with the wrong intentions. My dog's life can be changed in an instant, especially Duke at an age where he can't have some horrible traumatic experience. Prince is a little different story, but this stuff happens all the time, and it's got to get fixed in society. And what did I tell you? That dog needs impulse control. Those ladies need more control over their own bodies. Grip strength is big. Okay. In the comments. Okay. All right. Let's look. We got a lot, I think. Pepper spray. Someone said, why do dogs spin in circles? Why do dogs spin in circles? What do you mean? That dog needs a pack leader. That dog needs a pack leader. So I'm not going to, Crystal Diamond Dog Coach. It needs a pack leader and it needs specific training, correct? Pack leader is always good. There's individual behaviors that are not solved by holistic leadership, right? Right? I mean, we need a pack leader. Then we go down from there and we actually solve impulse control behaviors specifically need to be worked on. Joel, the audio for the video was way higher than your mic. Thank you for telling me that. Sorry if I blew you guys' ears out. Lady with big dog should have held the leash correctly. That is true. Feel like the guy was the only one. Feels like the guy was the only one at least some shred of react. I don't think there was a guy in the mix. Situational awareness should be a thing. Yes. Okay. I saw somewhere dogs spin in circles for GPS. They can tell magnetic interesting. Okay. Any other comments on the video? Crazy video. All right. We're going to go to Hater of the Week, and then we're going to do Q&A. Okay. So Hater of the Week comes from Instagram. Here, let me get this off here. Hater of the Week comes from Instagram. It's from a video I did that's got a fair amount of views where a dog was in a muzzle and Prince corrected the dog. And we're going to get into, I've gotten a fair amount of comments over the years about the other dog being in a muzzle. And so I'm going to explain why I do that. And it's pretty obvious to most, but I've gotten enough comments about it. It's not obvious to everyone. So here we go. remove that, put this in. Okay. So hopefully you can see this. Hopefully. All right. I got to move this computer closer. So Fox body Russ. Let me go to the beginning. Fox Body Russ says, I want Prince to fix my Cane Corso, but he won't be wearing a muzzle. Prince will have to correct a dog that has defenses and not some muzzle dog who can't do anything. This is the exact comments I get. And people often say exactly what he says. They say, I'm going to bring my dog, and my dog's not going to be in muzzle, and we'll see who wins the fight. Like we're trying to fight dogs. These people, they see my videos, and I think they think that I enjoy Prince correcting a dog in any way. Like it's an ego thing on my part in any way. And it is not in any way. 0%. I don't like doing it at all. I don't like doing it. You'll see if I've shown it in some of my videos where I look at the clients and I go, I don't think we should do this. Where I go, listen, doing this is, and I'm like, okay, let's do it. Like I enjoy it 0. So that's what he says. And we get a lot of those. So then I'm going to get to, here's the first comment, which she gets it. A Pitbull researcher gets it pretty good. She says to the guy, don't you realize the whole point was to effectively correct the dog's dangerous antisocial behavior in timely, safe, and effective manner? Seems like your ego is blinding you, which is 100% true. And that's almost always the case. She says again, it's clear what the issue is with your dog. Also a good point, although I didn't know the guy had an issue with his dog. By the way, this is from a closed account. Foxtrot, whatever, it's from a closed account, which I'll get to in a minute. Then someone else says, you shouldn't have a dog with that response, let alone a Corso. Okay. Then Charlie says, are you special? The owners of that dog came to the trainer. Okay. And then someone else says, tell us you're a tool without telling us you're a tool. Okay. All true. All 100% true. And then somebody says, what's the point of your comment? To let people know that your dog is badder? All also true. That is the point. The point, then he writes, the point of it is the muzzling the dog and calling it a correction is the same as having your arms tied behind your back and calling it a fair fight. We don't care about fair fights. And I'll tell you why we don't care about fair fights in a minute when I get into bullying, when I get into kids in the videos I see on Twitter being so affected by being beat up at school and how I would do anything on the face of the earth to not have those kids go through the social and how that's different than dogs, but we'll get into that. But it goes back to bullying, and you have to make sure the dog is bullying. The dog is aggressive. It doesn't work. This correction method from Prince does not work unless the intent is domination or physical harm to the other dog. It does not work, and I do not do it. So he says, it's fair fight. It isn't a correction when the dog has no way to defend itself. It's one-sided bullying. That's why I say Prince's owner doesn't know dogs and offered to show him, which it might be a wording thing, but like it seemed it's that last part bothered me, like his ego, that's why I offered to show him. It's almost like a threat in a way. I mean, it's not a real threat. You'll see my comment. I kind of say it's a threat. It's not really a threat, but like this guy needs to be, chopped down a little bit. So then I say to the guy, not getting a single like is actually really hard to do. Good job. I try not to, like, if I were to just explain something, I need 5 minutes to explain it on here. I can't explain it typing it. And it's pretty obvious what I'm doing. And I'm not just going to, when you're a jerk, I'm not just going to answer your question. Like, I'm not going to actually talk to you about what I need to talk about. It's in my video, like, you know? So and then I say, making threats from a closed account is weak. Open your account. So again, I go to some other stuff. So, then he says, hold on here. Look at this. Then he says, have you seen packs of dogs do corrections with muzzles? No, I haven't. No, the alpha can be challenged while giving a correction, and a muzzle doesn't allow it. Okay, so there's two situations that I draw from. Okay, there's my own experience with and my own thinking about dog on dog aggression, but it all stems from sort of people stuff. And I'll tell you how it deviates, but that's where it really comes from, right? The bullying thing. The target, the kid being bullied, punches the bully in the face, is the best way to do it. The parents interjecting, the school system interjecting, none of that is even close to the target. So who's the target? Prince is the target. So we know Prince should do it. That's been proven over thousands of years. Okay, the target should do it. Humans, dogs, whatever. It's the most direct. It's the most clear. Anything else outside of the target doing the correction is much less than the target giving the correction. We all know that. That passes the sniff test. Okay. So when do we do it? We do it when a lot of work has been done. That's why you hear me say in the videos, that's the nicest dog in the history of the world. I say it every time Prince gives a correction. I go, your dog was tested with the nicest female ever, and your dog tried to attack her. And that female gave all these signs that she didn't want to fight, and your dog tried to attack. I don't do this with Prince, ever, with Prince being the first dog, ever. I get getting mad at Prince. 100%. He's big, he's dominant, he's got balls. I get it. That's why you have to try to attack the nicest dog in the history of the world. I know your intentions now. Now go at Prince, and Prince corrects you. Is it perfect? No. Would I like the nicest dog in the history of the world to show all the signs and then do the correction? Yes, that would be best. It doesn't happen. It never happens. So then, same behavior to the nicest dog in the history of the world, goes at Prince. Prince gives the correction. The dog generalizes. Most of these dogs have gotten away with murder, right? They've done this to dogs. The other dogs have backed down on some level, and all these pathways have been formed. Then for the first time ever, dog stands up to them. They go, oh, I had no idea. I didn't know I could lose. I didn't know other dogs were strong. That's why I like Prince's kind of bull rush. They've never been moved by a dog. All these things happen. And then new pathways are formed. And that happening one time can often change a dog. Often it doesn't. And we're not necessarily willing to do it another time, but we have to have that big moment, that big shakeup moment. Now, it came from Prince, but it came from a dog. And then they tend to generalize and they go, I didn't know a dog could do that. And it bleeds into their interactions with other dogs. And for that session, it brings them down enough so then they can possibly make friends or be less with the other dogs. Then the friendship kicks in. Then they get better. The goal is not necessarily for the correction to fix them. The goal is to tamp them down enough so that they can be around dogs, so they can desensitize, become friends with, smell, whatever the goal is. And then that correction allows them to be with dogs. They can't even, just from the physical hitting alone, they can't be with the dog. So then they get hit back. They're hitting less than 60%, which allows me to put them with a dog, maybe on a muzzle, maybe on a leash, maybe with nothing, to put them with dogs to develop friendships. But we got to get rid of the hitting, the lunging, definitely the biting, and then they can make friends. So the goal, you see what I'm saying? All right. So where does this guy go wrong? Okay. So let me get back to bullying. I was going to show this video, and then I decided I didn't want to show it again. I really didn't want to see it again. It was this kid in this park, this little overweight kid, and these three kids just beat him up and humiliated him. I have kids, 9, 14, 16. I have kids. That kid's, and I see it all over Twitter all the time. These high schools, these middle schools, and these kids will jump these other kids, and these poor other kids, they're either trying to defend themselves or not, and it's done in the hallways. And if you don't have kids, I don't think you totally understand the gravity of the thing that happens socially in those moments, where these kids are so embarrassed that it changes the course of their life oftentimes. And it's not the physical harm, it's the embarrassment. And this isn't bullying. This goes beyond bullying. Kids use bullying now all the time. Like, it's just this word that's thrown out. But there are kids, and it's happening in all high schools. It's horrible what's going on right now. Okay. And I would do anything to make it stop. So if it was to tie the bully's hands to their back and let the kid punch them like they got punched, I would do it. The problem is, that's the same as the muzzle. The problem is they're humans. The kid could go, well, when I get these things off, then I'm still going to be the same way. But that's not the case with dogs. A certain percentage of adult dogs are what I call muzzle savvy, which is about 5%. So a dog gets a thing on their nose. Here's what they do. They go, there's a thing on my nose. They don't go, there's a thing on my nose and I can't bite something. They essentially don't pair the two things. So they act the same way. Then the muzzle comes off, and then they're good. The muzzle comes off. They don't all of a sudden become bad. So it's not the same thing. The muzzle is, they don't know what it is in a way. They know it's a thing around here that is in their eye line. That's all they know. And if they condition to a gentle leader, it's almost the same. But the gentle leader doesn't matter. You see, so there's a difference. There's a giant difference. And dogs don't suffer the same sort of emotional damage that comes with a kid being sucker punched and then beat up in the hallway of his school. And that's the real problem. Dogs don't suffer that same, but they do suffer more physical damage. Way more. Dogs die all the time. Our friend was in Hawaii, and she watched a cattle dog kill a Pomeranian. It happens all the time. And so dogs suffer physical damage, which that's what we're trying to stop. So that's the thinking on the muzzle. And I wouldn't be doing it at this point, this many years later, if it didn't work. It's not perfect. Would I prefer there not be a muzzle? Yes. Would I prefer there not be a leash? Yes. But they're necessary evils to keep everyone safe, and then we try to fade off of them. Okay, leashes, muzzles, and fences. Okay, let's go, because there's probably a lot of thoughts on especially the kid bullying thing. It's not even bullying. The kids getting beat up and humiliated in school. Now, if the bully or the person, the aggressor, have a reason to do it, that's different. And there's varying degrees of reasons kids fight. But many of the ones I see, it seems to be strong kid picking on weak kid. When you come to my facility and we put a aggressive dog and we get them with safety, obviously, or even through a fence, and the nicest golden female comes out who's 10 years old and she's doing lookaways and she's going like this and she's walking to the fence, and the dog on the other side of the fence gets up on the fence and stares her in the eye. No. That's not the way this thing works. I would do much harsher methods if I could. I would like to have a 160-pound Borbal. I would love it. That could just take that dog, hit it, slam it, roll it, pin it until the dog literally submitted. I would love it. I don't have that dog. I have an 80-pound dog, and he can only do so much, and I only want him to do so much. But in that situation, that is. Now, why did that dog become that way? That's why I talk to them. That's why they fill out the forms. That's why we get to the bottom of this, of why they are the way they are. Right? That's why I talk about trauma. And if there's been too many traumas in the dog's life, we don't go down this road, because they're acting out of a trauma base, of a fear-based thing. And they're just acting out, and it just looks terrible. But I'll do it. I'll do this till the day I die if I have the dog. I went through 2 years, 3 years of not having a helper dog. Nothing changed. Nothing really changed. Bosco died. I got Prince a year later. My first video of Prince working, I think, is on YouTube, and it wasn't him correcting a dog. Like, I can use other dogs, in different ways and sort of try to pick the best dog. A lot of it isn't even the correction. It's just like a dog not backing down to the other dog, not giving space. The dog hitting a dog, Connery, for example, who's at my facility a lot. We've used him where a dog hits him, we'll kind of hit him and he just won't move. That's a big deal to the other dog. All right. Then we'll get to Q&A because there's some questions in here. Let me get to this. There's a lot of questions. I'll try to get to them. Okay. Oh, my background's so bright, someone said. Oh, someone gave some money. Dude, $20? One time I got so excited, someone gave like $1,000, and then it was in like some currency, and it was actually like 19 cents. But thank you. That might be $19 or $20. That's great. How can I get my male doggo and female pit to engage? He wants to play, but she's not interested. She nips, bites. Okay, we're going to get to that when the questions come up. I just didn't know if you guys have any thoughts. I don't know if you guys aren't seeing these bullying video. Bullying. Fight videos. But kids' lives are changed. And unlike a dog, their life has changed for 50 years, not for 8. That's a long time. Okay. Let's go to the bottom here. Oh, someone wants comment roulette. That's a thing I did on my old podcast. Question. You have called some dogs jerks, and Caesar Milan says there are no bad dogs. Yeah, other people say there are no bad dogs, just bad humans. So while I get that dogs can become bad because their owners can cause many issues, are some dogs jerks? Absolutely. No bad dogs. How about the dog that killed the dogs kill children? Are they bad dogs? Oh, we all agree they're bad dogs, or no? Okay. What about maiming children? Okay. Are they bad dogs? Oh, okay. Let's say they are. Okay. What about attacking a child's face but not getting to the child? Are they bad dogs? No bad dogs. I love Caesar Milan. All right. I don't think I've said anything bad. So I think the no bad dogs thing is, I think it's like it's this thing. It's this thing people do. It's no bad dogs, only bad humans. I don't know why they do it. I think people who get hate, like Caesar Milan has gotten so much hate, they try to like do something that's gonna satiate the hate a little bit. I really do think that. You see it in all segments of society. Someone starts getting a lot of hate, and then you go, that's a weird position to take. Like, you're like trying to have the other side not come after you quite so much. You actually see it with a lot of people where they will start to sort of be super conservative, but then they'll be like almost like animal rights activists. And you're like, interesting. And they're trying to kind of be like, I agree with you guys. Don't come after me. We're going to agree on this issue. And I think that's a little bit of what that is. No bad dogs. Why wouldn't there be bad dogs? There's no bad lions. Are there bad people? It's an honest question. Are there bad people? If you say yes, do we agree there's no bad lions? We do. Dogs are in the middle of that. Dogs are not wild animals. They're not people, but they live in our homes. They can't kill other organisms. If they kill people, there's consequences. If they kill other dogs, there's much less consequences, but we prefer them not. And there's laws about dogs. And Europe wild animals and then dogs will eventually be people. Probably chimps first, apes first. They'll have health care. It's all coming in Europe, especially France, the home of animal rights. It's coming. It's coming to Europe, and it's going to come across, and it's going to hit us. And maybe you think that's good. I do not. I believe people are different. I believe people are special. I am a person. My children are people. But anyway, I believe there are bad dogs. I believe dogs need to be put down for killing people. I believe grizzly bears, if you watched last week, need to be put down for trying to kill 12 people. That is my belief. Because I am a Christian. That is why. And because I'm a normal human being. I don't know where that comment went. So I do think that Cesar Millan, I don't know if he believes that. No bad dogs, only bad humans. I mean, I guess you could say like the humans sort of bred the dogs and then the humans raised the dogs. And so it's kind of all humans' faults at the end of the day. But that's a weird way to say that. No bad. I mean, because only bad humans sort of makes the owner rescued the dog at a year. Well, they're doing something wrong. That's what that implies. Maybe not intentionally. And that's very destructive for that person who tried to do the right thing and rescue the dog. And now the dog's super aggressive and they're being blamed and they are being blamed. And they feel blamed and they feel responsible for that dog's aggression when they had nothing to do with that dog's aggression. They rescued the dog. Maybe they even bought the dog at 8 weeks and the two parents were horribly aggressive dogs. They got a problem. They got a problem. Someone said, "Oh, Joel," like they didn't like what I'm saying, I think. All right. Yeah, this is Beckman off the chain. I don't know. What do you expect? What do you expect? I'm definitely being facetious. Our society is so warped with reality that some eschew truth or facts with feelings that align with their own, mostly women. Oh. I have a TSA dropout rescue. He is a German short-haired pointer. Do you have any advice on how can I work on him learning to relax outside of the kennel? He cannot stop working mode once he is out. Yeah, it's tough, man. These working dogs. I mean, they pick them for a reason. They breed them for a reason. Okay. In the house, outside. Okay. Think of the difference. There's the kennel, calmness. Then there's anything about outside the kennel, craziness. What's the next step? Outside the kennel on a leash, tied up to something strong. Maybe giving them something to do. Maybe not. Food for crows and calling marrow. Now they're outside. They're on a leash still, so we're not there, but they're not in the crate and they're being calm. How about exercise in general to bring some of that energy out? Something, it can be huge, it can be not so huge, the exercise thing. Okay, but you have to think, and then you go, okay, you've been in the kennel, you're calm. Now you're outside the kennel, tied up, you're calm, you're outside. Now we're going to take this leash, when we're going to exercise you, then we're going to take this leash off. You've done one of the desensitization things, being outside the kennel. Then you go, no leash, bone. So now there's no leash. They're outside they're free, but they have their bone. So they're being calm. Now your dog is technically being calm, although we got a bone. So we're like tricking him into being calm. But then he gets up from that bone and he's like, I've been kind of free for a while. I don't feel like doing the zoomies. I don't feel like doing my neurotic TSA stuff. And you start there. That's where I would start. But I want you guys to start thinking that way. I want you guys to start thinking that way. Okay. That's sort of behavior 101. You have crazy here, or excuse me, calm here, crazy here. Well, what are the middle steps holistically to that? Is it sits and downs and stays? No. Operant is almost never the answer. You're too involved. You want them to just habituate and then slowly take the things away. Take the kennel away, take the leash away, blah, blah, blah. You get it. Oh, I like this question. What are your thoughts on genetic issues with Dobermans? Do you think the genetic pool should be expanded with other breeds? This comes from losing my 7-year-old Dobie, male to DCM and 5 years to cancer. Yeah, I lost Bosco to bone cancer throughout his body. I have a variety of reasons I think he got that, of which I don't know if any of them are true. So Dobermans have a blood issue, almost like a hemophilia issue. Good breeders don't let their dog have that, right? The genes from the male, they got it all figured out on who will produce those babies. They also have a heart issue. And then I think they have one other. Almost every breed has they have this issue and this issue. Pretty much every breed. Dobermans have those two, and then maybe one more. I forgot. The blood issue is the biggest one. But I think they're like any other breed where they have issues. Every breed has issues, Yeah. Von Wildebrands is what it's called. Which one's that? The blood one or the heart one? I don't remember. Okay. Now we're going to go to the Q&A. Someone gave me $20, so I'm going to give them. How can I get my male dogo and female pit to engage? He wants to play. Okay, the dogo wants to play. The female pit does not. He wants to play, but she's not interested. She nips, bites him when he runs or when they're reacting to someone walking by. I had one serious fight now that she started. All right. This is a friendship issue. So I'm going to kind of rapid fire ways to get them friends. That's what we're dealing with. She wants no part of it. Okay. Train them together. Walk them together. Be careful with play together because someone can run into the other one and you can have a fight. Feeding them together is weird because, food bowls because of food involved. You really have to go, okay, what could trigger a fight? Him hitting her because they're playing. She guards her stuff, so we can't do that. And he guards his food, so we can't do that. So those are essentially out. So what are the other things left? They need to be together, and she needs to be doing happy things. Okay, what makes her happy? Maybe what I do is I pet Duke, then I pet Prince. And now when I pet Duke, Prince's tail wags. Not the other way around. Maybe she loves you loving on her. So you're going to go love on him. Then you're going to love on her. Then she might build some weird thing about liking him. Maybe she loves being pet by you or getting on the couch. And so every good movement from her towards him is then reinforced. Now we're getting into operant world, of which B.F. Skinner did not do good experiments, while Ivan Pavlov is a genius. So you really want to live in the classical conditioning world of happiness, sadness, friendship. And it really can't be done operantly. So you need to think kind of about emotions and her being happy and her maybe only being happy in the presence of him. And then those two things in her head are paired, similar to ringing a bell and having dogs salivate for the bell. Same concept, automatic responses. You've got to kind of think outside the box and think in those terms. That's about the only way. Now, you got time could help it. Correcting her for doing certain things to him, operantly positive punishment could help it. But even if you correct the behaviors, you still need the sort of happiness with him. And that is a bit more difficult, but essentially the only way. Okay. So I hope that helps. That's your job to get into the weeds on that. Okay. Okay. We're at 40 minutes. Still got a little to do. Not much. No, we're at Q&A. We're good. Okay. I have 2 intact male dogs, an 8-year-old pit bull, mastiff mix, and 1-year-old Cane Corso when they're playing. Oh, yeah, this is different. A lot of pit bull, Cane Corso. Oh, no, this is a Dogo Argentino. Dogos are the gnarliest dogs in the world. My Borbal people are going to hate that. The pit people are going to hate that. The Cane Corso people are going to really hate that. Dogo Argentinos are the scariest. Big Dobermans are pretty scary. Big Rotties, sort of. Dogo Argentinos are on another level, dude. I've worked with enough of them. I do not ever want a Dogo to get mad at me or my dog. They are another level dog. Okay, I have two intact male dogs, an 8-year-old pit, mastiff mix, and a Cane Corso. When they're playing, the Cane Corso almost always does not wag his tail, while the other one does. Should I be concerned? 1-year-old Cane Corso, you should be concerned because your dog is 1. And you need to be from 1 to 1.5. Mark my words. You need to be vigilant right now. This is when it will happen. And I am concerned about the dog not wagging its tail. If you said he's 3, I wouldn't be so concerned. He's essentially himself. 1 to 1.5 is when this stuff happens. Okay? So if you can get through it and come out at 1.5 years, you're probably good. You need to be doing what I told the other person to do. Okay? So hopefully you heard that. That's what you got to do. You got to be building their relationship, not letting them get in a fight ever. If it happens, it happens. You got to deal with it. And the aggressor gets corrected by the boss. That's you. And I hope you're the boss with these breeds in your house. If it happens, but really you just need to be worrying about joy between the two. Okay. All right. Any clue on why the severe human trauma from question above, I ran out of room. He still can't get well, even with people practice. I have knee bees, shadow away. I know you're a commenter who's been here for many years. I have no clue what you're talking about. The reason why I hate it when people say rescue is always the best option. They can, but it's okay. The reason why I hate it when people say rescue is always the best option. They can, but it's a surprise bag, and not everyone. Why have your own kids? There's kids that need homes. Why is anyone having their own kids? Why do you want your own kids? Most people want their own kids, but then those same people will say, "Oh, why didn't you rescue a dog?" Because we want to control. Because we see videos of dogs pulling other dogs down the street and trying to kill other dogs. Oh, but it's just the human's fault. Oh, as long as you're a good human, you can fix your dog's aggression. Even if you get it at 4 months. I know dogs that are not ruined at 4 months, but like hard to come back from because of what's happened in their life. Well, do you want to take that on? Not everyone will take that on. I mean, the rescue industry is, do what you want. Do whatever you want in life. Don't hurt anybody. Don't listen to anybody. You should do this. You should do that. You should do whatever you want to do. Within reason. Don't listen to these trends in society. Do whatever you want. I made a video of walking back with dog food. And I was holding the dog food. It has like 1,000,000 views probably. Holding the dog food. And I said, Walmart, I don't generally get my dog food at Walmart, but they had Fresh Pet or whatever I get. I said, Walmart got rid of plastic bags. Oh my God. You would have thought I said, something horrible. I go, Walmart, freaking bring back plastic bags. People were like aghast at me saying that. I don't care. I could care less. I want plastic bags. I live in California, so it's a problem. I use my plastic bags to clean up tons of poop. I don't want paper bags. I don't care. You can hate that or what, but it doesn't change my opinion. Okay. What if you rescue had a shock collar used on them before getting adopted? Shock collars are only bad in one situation. The shock collar was turned up super high, and the button was hit when the dog looked and had feelings about another dog, and they hit the button. I mean, they can be bad, I assume, if you're just not using a nice method that'll work, and you're just like, I need this behavior to go away, light him up, jumping or something. I don't use it. I don't use them for anything. That's when it's bad. If it's been used for something else, there's no trauma. It's low levels of vibration. High level is a whole different story. Dogs' brains, in my opinion, there is no reason a dog would understand a shock. Have you ever been touched something? I touched at an animal facility, hot wire. It felt like some bodybuilder took his hand and smacked me in the middle of the back as hard as they could. It was it felt like that in a way, but it felt like nothing I've ever felt. It's a very unique experience to be shocked. Operantly, it makes sense. There is pain after a behavior, and that behavior will decrease. And it doesn't bruise. It's just there and gone, and it's gone very quickly. So it's perfect. It's perfect. But the dog's brain, over thousands of years, there hasn't been enough lightning strikes on dogs for the genetic information to be passed for them to understand a shock. So I believe, high level, their brain doesn't get it in a way, and it can mess their brain up. That is my opinion. But I've thought about this for hours and hours and hours and hours. I don't say stuff that I haven't thought of. The first question on here was cold. I don't know. I don't live in a cold climate, so I don't know what to tell you. I'll tell you when I don't know something. I've dealt with a lot of high-level e-collar dogs that have been screwed up. Well, why have they been screwed up? Scientifically, it doesn't make any sense why they've been screwed up, actually. The thing was hit, the behavior decreased. Why did it scramble their brain? It didn't last. The pain didn't last. It went away very quickly. Why? Why does it mess them up? Sometimes. Oftentimes when it's turned up too high and it's done in that way. Why? Because there's nothing like it in nature. If an owner gets mad at a dog, for 10,000 years, the dog's mom has been getting mad at them. A bigger organism grabbed him by the muzzle. Then an owner goes, hey, don't do that. They go, bigger organism got mad at me. I get it. It's in their DNA. E-collar? I don't know. Yeah, someone just saw a story about a park ranger struck by lightning 7 times. Yeah, anyway. Okay. We have time for one more question. What's the best way to socialize an 8-week-old puppy? You really don't socialize an 8-week-old puppy when they don't have their full vaccines. You don't need to socialize an 8-week-old puppy. If you can get a hold of siblings, and if you have another 8-9-week-old puppy, you could get them together. They're 8 weeks old. You got time for that. You don't need to do it. Depends on how you feel about vaccines. You know, you get them with dogs slowly. You need the right dogs. You do it at your house, maybe at their house in their living room. I don't know. I don't have a perfect formula for when to get a dog. Well, was it from a great breeder? Was it with its brothers and sisters? Your dog just left its brother and sisters a week ago. It's essentially now. What if it didn't? For some reason, with its brothers and sisters. Now I'd probably go, okay, I need to find other 8-week-old dogs, 9-week-old, 10-week-old dogs, and I need to slowly get them with them. If those are with their brother and sister, I wouldn't worry about it too much. All right. I'm interested to see a list of what vaccines you recommend to get and to avoid. Vaccines. I'll talk about most things. Vaccines get into a weird place. I believe in vaccines. Parvo is deadly. I don't know. You got to be a little careful. I mean, what percentage of vets' money is off vaccines? 25%? I don't know. If it's 1%, that's a different story. If it's 30%, I'd be a little wary of the pusher. Who makes the vaccines? What's in the vaccines? You should be worried about anything you put in your body. You should ask questions. You don't just trust anyone telling you to do this stuff. They don't. Nobody really cares about your dog, actually. No one really cares about your kid, your children. You care about your children. Maybe their family cares about their children, your children. Your teacher cares about your child a little bit. You get away from that. No one cares about your kids, really. So do you know why altruism happens in nature? The only reason why, I think one species actually does altruistic behavior. Every group that is altruistic, it's because they're related to the animals they're helping. So beehives and ant colonies, they're all brother, sister, cousin, aunts, uncles. That's all. That's every single one in there is that. That's why they act the way they do. And I think it's like mongoose or prairie dogs that will be altruistic to something outside of their gene pool. Other than that, there essentially is no altruism until you get to people. And then I think it's even limited at that point. I just said it's limited because it is. The government doesn't care about your kids. They don't. They just don't. They don't care about your kid. They care about all the kids a little bit. Sort of, the school system doesn't really care about your kids. I hate to break it to you. I know it's tough if you think this. I realize it's a hot button issue. I get it. But they just don't. And who cares about your dog? You do. You do. People try to make good food for dogs. Wonderful. Wonderful. They're trying to make a living. That's why they're making the good food. I mean, that they care about your dog, care about making money, care about all that stuff. I care about your dog. I also care about making money. It's the way the world works. So anyway, I couldn't have possibly gotten into any more controversial of a topic, but I don't say it unless, tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. All right, guys. If you are in the Bay Area or Oakland, you want to call Anastasia. She is a graduate from the Beckman coaching program. She is awesome. She is really good with leash reactivity. She's good with everything, but I've seen videos of her with leash reactivity doing things that was amazing. Okay. She's got Frenchies as her helper dogs. I'm going to put her email up here. Okay. Again, Northern California. Oop, in the comments. Here she is. Oop. All right. Anastasia is awesome. There's a lot of need and a lot of people up in San Francisco Bay Area, Oakland, that need help. Anastasia is your person, okay? All right, we're coming up on it. Someone says food grade diatomaceous alternative to heartworms. Diatomaceous earth trips me out. I use it in my pool, and then people send it to feed their dog. Don't do the pool stuff for your dog. Don't even breathe the pool stuff in. Okay. Apparently it's really bad for you. But there is food grade diatomaceous earth. And what I heard is it's made out of clam and oyster shells. I don't know what it does. I don't know exactly what it does, but people have rarely, but they have sent it to feed their dogs. I think that's what you put in a parakeet enclosure too. Actually, it is. They give them a shell, right? So it's actually that. And I think it's good for something. I think it's good also to dry out like your carpets for fleas. I could be wrong about that. By the way, don't do any of this with pool diatomaceous earth. That is different, and it can be very bad if you breathe it in. You want yeah, someone says DE also works for bed bugs. Okay, we're on DE talk now. Diatomaceous earth talk. Okay, guys, that's it. I'll do this every week unless I have to miss a week for travel or something, but I hope you got something out of it. Good numbers this week. Love you guys. See you soon. See you next week.